it is Deanna here, and today's video, what I'm going to be going through is my did not finish list for 2022. So sit back, enjoy, and let's get into it. The did not finish list that I have for 2022, not all of them were because the books were bad, just heads up, it's just I just haven't finished them, and I don't think I'm gonna finish them by the end of the year because we are really fastly approaching the end of the year and I've still got quite a few books on my list. So here's the ones that I either did not finish because I didn't enjoy them or I just have not had time. I'm gonna go ahead and go through the list first and then I'm gonna reveal why, maybe. So we've got number 1, The Secret Stealers by June Healey. We've got Becoming by Michelle Obama. We've got Iliad and Odyssey by Homer, written by Barry P. Powell. We've got House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. We've got Meet Me in the Amadrins by Melissa Ferguson. We've got The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. And Fairy Godmothers by Sarana de Wilde. So there is my list of the ones that I did not finish this year. Let's go through why. So we're going to start with The Secret Stealers. So The Secret Stealers was one that was a book club read for November 2022. I think it started very interesting, but it lost interest. Like I'm not enjoying it as much now. So it's a book regarding a woman during World War II who is essentially a widow who is acting as a spy during World War II. And honestly, I just found that the spy work was very clunky. I found that the main character, Anna, was very careless. She would just talk all over about things she was doing in bars and restaurants to some of her friends when it was secret spy missions that she was going on, and it just made it feel so inauthentic and just made it feel like, what is this girl doing? Like, you would not do that if you were having so many spy things happening and you had things like at stake that sometimes you could be losing your life because of it. You're in the middle of a war. So it really took me out of the book. It really made me think, what is going on? Like, there's a scene where she is posing in France as a French woman in France, and she has a fake alias and a different identity and everything, and she is right there with the Germans in occupied France, and she ends up going to a party of an American woman who ends up knowing her real identity. And do you not think that if we're dealing with such high stakes where people are literally being killed, that they would not have vetted that better? They would not have made sure that she did not know that woman, or that there wasn't something that was aware that, hey, let's make sure her cover isn't blown. But instead the girl goes, oh, I know you, you're this person. Do you not think the Germans would have been, what the hell, let's get this girl? I stopped reading, so I don't even know what happened after that, because I was just like, you know what, I could almost look over that she's excited telling her friends about stuff, that they're talking in bars about it, even though that was like frustrating me. But as soon as that happened, I was just like, no, it's just not authentic enough. It's making it feel like it's too much of a big game when these were literally German Nazis killing people for pretty much so much less. So I couldn't after that, and so I stopped reading it on December 14th because I was just like, nope, I'm done. I can't read this anymore. Maybe I'll pick it back up because the actual writing was really easy to read. Like, it flowed really well. It was just the actual story and her and how Anna was just very frustrated. Plus, there was a lot of times where we were told how smart she was, but yet things like this is happening. makes her feel like she's not really that smart. So I just didn't enjoy so far, so I've had to stop reading it. And I had such high hopes for it too. I was so excited about it. I found it even more enjoyable, I thought, but no, it wasn't. It wasn't. Then we've got Becoming. So this one is a very long book. It's 19 hours audio plus, I think, on my Audible. I've got a credit for it. I'm still very interested, but it is slow going because how long it is. You know, I'm trying to read it, and I'm trying to actually pay attention to it too, because I think she's got a lot of interesting things to say. She's talking about her whole life and, you know, becoming herself, how she gets through, and then becoming this like very powerful woman in her own right, and then also becoming the First Lady of the United States for, you know, however many, I believe it was from 2008 to 2016, so 8 years. Yeah, 2 presidencies that Mr. Obama was through. So that to me was just, it's such, I think, a important story to hear that I want to give it its due to listen to it. I don't want to be rude about it and just kind of listen to it without really giving it some thought, because I think she says a lot of things where it makes me think a bit, and because it's so long, it's just taking me a bit to get through it. So I really hope to continue this and give it the attention that it really deserves. Then we've got Iliad and Odyssey. Again, this one's just a huge one. We've got 2 texts, the Iliad and the Odyssey, which are already in their own right a little difficult to read because they're old, you know, English speaking ways, a translation from Greek into like Old English, and it's very poetry like, which here and there sometimes on poetry. And it also, I started reading it when I was really having my big phase in Greek this year. I always loved Greek mythology, but sometimes I'm really interested, and other times I'm like, okay, this is there in the back of my mind of interest. And so this one has kind of waned a bit in my interest, but I'm still very interested. So if you see I've got little check marks, I got X because I don't know if I'll ever return to this one. These ones I'm definitely planning on returning to. Then we've got House of Earth and Blood. This one, I don't know. I saw so much hype about it. I've never read a Sarah J. Maas book. This was my first venture into Sarah J. Maas. I've heard so much about her books, heard so much about her series and everything. And honestly, the main character was frustrating. I know that she has something pretty traumatic happen to her, but I feel like I don't know her enough. Even we're giving all this info dumping of like the actual world, but nothing really like that pulls me to her and connects me to her as much. So honestly, I've just not been as interested in reading it because it's just a lot to read, and I'm really just not as interested in the story. Plus I've seen some things where like the second one is even worse than the first one or something. So honestly, if the first one I'm already not enjoying, why am I going to put myself through it? It's a huge book too. Maybe I need to go and try some other Sarah J. Maas to see if she's even the type of writer for me, because as it is, she's a little too heavy for me, a little too much for some of those days when I just want to throw on a book and have some fun. So I don't know, I might have to come back and see what she's like. Then I've got Meet Me in the Margins. I was listening to this one, I've still been listening to this one by audiobook. It's cute. It's like a meet cute kind of thing. It's just not really holding my attention. I keep falling off of it, not really going back, keep getting sidetracked. I keep getting lost of where I am in the story because it's been so long since I've listened to it. And at least typically when I am reading a book, I have the physical copy and I can read a little bit to be like, oh yeah, okay, that's what's happened, I'm up to speed. This one, it's like I have to listen, and I'm not rewinding to go listen because sometimes just to me I'm just even more lost. So honestly, I just feel like maybe I just need to get this in actual physical copy to enjoy it, because maybe this type of book about audiobook just isn't my type to listen to, or I'm just not enjoying it as much. So we'll see if I go back to that one I've got next so far, because honestly I just don't think I'm going to. I think I've lost interest and I'm just not interested. Then we've got 2 here, which are The Nightingale and Fairy Godmothers. which are these two here. And these, I've been reading them as ebooks. Ebooks are my least favorite format. I just don't enjoy ebooks because it's just harder for me to read, I think, because of the eye problems I have sometimes staring at I stare at a screen all day for work, and then I do it also for other forms of entertainment, to then also do it for reading as well. I feel like it's a little much sometimes for my eyes. Plus, I'm just not as big a fan of that. Maybe I'm just too stubborn because I love physical format books. Gotten a little bit into audiobooks, but as you can see, usually even those, I mean, I tend to favor those more for like memoirs and things like that, because even just Meet Me in the Margins kind of proved that even that I'm just not as interested in. But I think I would love these books if I just maybe got the physical copies, so perhaps I need to look into that. So that has been my did not finish list so far for 2022. I hope a few of these I will go back to the actual books that I'm listening to or reading, and a few of them maybe I'll go into a different format and be able to pick them up, and the other ones I think I'm just gonna have to say, you know what, it's just not for me right now. If I ever go back to it, sure, great. If not, maybe I need to pass them on. I've got a little book library on my street that maybe I just need to drop them off in and let someone else enjoy the books, because maybe they're just not for me, and that's okay. Not every book is for every person. But that is it. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what's been on your DNF list, and is it a book that's on your list because you just don't have time this year, or you're just having other things pop up, or is it you're just not interested and maybe you need to check something else out? I'd love to hear below. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourselves, and you will see me next time.